So we've done the tubeless conversion on the tyres. Seems good so far. I've had that for a week and I've tried to murder them as much as possible and they seem fine at the moment. As you can see, they're a bit chalky because I decided to come down for some reason to a pump track and see if we could learn to jump on a 26 kilogram bike. There is a reason behind this. A, because both of the bikes that I've built are out of service, probably because I've built them. But I did want to get some air on the bike, something I've never really learned and I think it's a fundamental skill. So what better test of durability, because everyone says that the components on this bike are particularly weak and I don't believe that for a second, to see if it can withstand a pump track, and the punishment that I'm going to give it with my 90 kilogram frame and a wheel that weighs 7 kilograms. It's very tail heavy, this bike, but let's see if we can do something with it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
So the whole premise of this video was supposedly to show you some of the improvements and upgrades that I've made, which I will show you after this intro. However, the biggest problem I found is that the bike is now off the road because in my stupidity at trying to jump a 26 kilogram bike with most of the weight on the back wheel, it transpires that I have buckled the wheel. So this is, you know, a double-edged sword in a way. It allows me to upgrade the wheel to something more like a dirt jumper wheel and something which is probably more befitting of the size of tyre that I've got on here and the weight of this rear wheel, particularly weighing in at about 7 kilograms. It needs something a bit sturdier than what Alfred's have put on, which is a standard kind of cross-country rim, to be honest, and not a particularly good one at that. I think the internal diameter is about, internal width is about 23 millimeters on this wheel. That's nowhere near wide enough to give you the right kind of profile that you want on the tyre and to do anything other than gentle kind of bridle way trekking and a bit of cross-country riding, which I want to do on this bike, because the whole point of this channel was to show you what you can do with a cheap e-bike. So what I'm probably going to have to do now is get this stripped. I probably won't attempt this job myself because I've not laced a wheel properly myself before, but I'm probably going to look at getting some new rims, something like a Halo Chaos or a Halo SAS, which I know is proven because I've got it on my 26er. Maybe something about 30 millimeter in width, so it's a lot wider, it'll be stiffer and it'll be stronger, and I'll try and reuse these spokes if I can, and it's a 36 spoke, which is a bit rarer, but we'll find something suitable. So hopefully in the next video you'll see a new wheel, rebuilt, custom, and it'll be stronger and we'll be able to jump this thing more than we can currently. So I did say I was going to give you a quick update on other upgrades, changes that I've made to the bike, even though, as you can see, it's obviously on the work stand, pending getting the wheel changed. But quickly, running from the top to bottom, essentially I have switched over the stem and bars. So I've taken my massively wide bars, I think these are 800mm, possibly more, from my other project bike which I've dismantled and is going to be rebuilt again in the winter. Put a massively shorter stem on as well, so the whole premise of this is, well, A, it looks better, I like the way it feels. It allows you to kind of expand your lungs a bit more and breathe properly as you're going up hills, and it also feels more stable and planted on downhill sections. So essentially this is a cross-country frame, but having these upgrades at the front gives you a more aggressive stance and it makes it feel more planted when you're going downhill. In terms of the forks, I haven't changed those. However, I did recently purchase a second-hand set of radons. These are Suntour radon, and these are the, as with a lot of the Suntour range, they are adjustable for the travel. So they're currently set at 130, but I was going to try and extend these out to 140, again to make the bike feel more planted downhill, and also so I can get rid of those spacers and drop the stem down without the bike height being adjusted. This one is an air fork, as opposed to the really simple coil fork that it comes standard with, and it's also got 32mm stanchions as opposed to the 30mm stanchions that come standard on these XCMs. So it's a much better fork, and this was really cheap on eBay as well. I paid 60 quid for this. So it's sticker bombed at the moment. May not be to everyone's taste, but I like it. Of course, the wheel we saw earlier. However, what you may not have noticed is that I've got this dirty grate cog on the back cassette, and it is a Sunrace 11 to 46 cassette. So yeah, it's going to get you up anything. I mean, I've said previously in the intro video that the stock set, which is a 9-speed, would be sufficient. However, this should get you more efficient gearing if you want to go uphill in the eco mode a bit more. So in theory, if you're doing a lot more climbing, you should actually get a little bit more range on the battery, potentially. But I just like the way it looks, and I like the fact that I've got more gears there if I need them. So that's been paired to a new rear derailleur. As you can see here, it's Shimano SLX clutched mid-cage derailleur, and I've also paired this up with an 11-speed KMC gold chain. They're meant to wear a bit better, but to be honest, it's just for the bling factor. I think it looks pretty cool. I've also whacked on the Suntour NCX suspension post, which I think you've seen in previous videos, but that's now on just to give me a bit more of a supple ride. And that's it for the moment. So yeah, bars, stem, suspension post, most of the drivetrain's been changed. The forks, I was going to change that prior to the wheel buckling, but now that I'm having to change the rim on the rear wheel, I'm thinking potentially I may change the front wheel as well, and possibly switch from a 9mm quick release to a 15mm through axle. So that would give me a stiffer front end as well. So potentially I may be selling those forks anyway before I've even put them on the bike. So that gives you a quick rundown of where we are now, and yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully there'll be more updates once the wheel has been fixed.